What's up, Star Wars fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, back with another action figure review. This time, I'm looking at the Sideshow Collectibles Order of the Jedi 1/6 scale figure of Mace Windu. Let's have a look at the packaging. This says Order of the Jedi on the front and the top. On the bottom, this is designated as a collectible intended for ages 14 and older. There's a product shot on this side. And on the back, we get a full body product shot and movie stills featuring Mace Windu in Star Wars. And the box opens like this. This compartment contains the various figure accessories, and this larger compartment originally housed the figure. There are also descriptions of the Order of the Jedi as well as Mace Windu. If you would like to read these, I'll put close-up shots at the end of the video. The front of the box is quite attractive. It features not only the Star Wars logo, but also a shot of Samuel L. Jackson, as well as a close-up of the figure. This unintentionally highlights the figure's biggest flaw in that it doesn't bear a strong resemblance to Samuel L. Jackson. The figure comes with Episode 2 and 3 lightsaber hilts, as well as Episode 2 and 3 lightsaber hilts with ignited purple blades. There's a Jedi food capsule, a Jedi holoprojector, a Jedi comlink. There's an alternate set of gripping hands, a force gesturing left hand, and a severed hand stump. And here's the fully assembled figure stand. It says Star Wars, and it contains this waist-clinching wire. And here we see Mace Windu, free of the box and ready to rumble. Even though this figure is now 18 years old, it still stands as one of the best Mace Windu figures on the market. Even with the resemblance issue, there is still so much to enjoy about this figure. So let's have a closer look at the loose details now. Let's have a look at the lower body now. And these boots are still in prime condition. There's no peeling or chipping. Here's a look at the pants. Again, this is all cloth, as you can see. These are screen accurate, as is the tunic. And you can see the various layers here on the attire. These are high quality fabrics, and they are very eye-catching. I increased the light for a closer look at the belt and the torso, and look at all of this detail. There's a little notch here to hang the lightsaber hilts, and I certainly appreciate that. But you can see all of these very small pieces that have all been fused to make this belt. And the layers and folds on the tunic look excellent. And the pouches on the belt are functional, and that's a really cool feature. Now let's have a look at the arms. And the tunic sleeves are loose, so they don't hinder the articulation. Each of the wrist joints have these hinges, and they do look a little odd when they're uncovered. However, I do like the way that they move, so I can't complain too much there. Here's a look at one of the gripping hands. The material for the hands is pliable, so it's not difficult to get the accessories into the hands. I will say that the elbow joints only articulate to this angle, and the elbows are pretty stiff, so Sideshow certainly could have done a little bit better in that area. Now we come to the head sculpt, and in and of itself, this is not a bad head sculpt. I really appreciate the intensity in the eyes and how realistic the eyes look. There's good sculpting on the skull, as well as the ears. There's lots of detail there. The back of the head could have used a little more detail. That looks somewhat plastic, but that is not the case with the face. And this expression is very fitting for a serious character like Mace Windu. The fact that this figure only bears a passing resemblance to Samuel L. Jackson could be a make or break issue with some collectors. But I'm still happy with this figure's overall appearance. As I said earlier, the lightsabers hang from this notch on the belt, and you simply slide in these little knobs, and these are present on both of the lightsabers. Reminder, these are small parts, so take your time when attaching the hilts. Trigger warning for anyone who is squeamish. Here is the severed hand accessory. And this is done pretty well for the most part. It's actually inventive. I would have liked maybe a dark wash on it so the skin looks a little more charred since it was chopped off by a lightsaber. As I said earlier, the hands on this figure are very pliable, so it doesn't feel like you have to force the accessories into the fingers, and I certainly appreciate that. Here's a look at the force gesturing open palm hand, and there's some really intricate sculpting on the fingers here. The seller from whom I bought this figure actually included an extra cloak, and here is the extra one. And this one also has a wire in the hood. And here's a look at the sleeves. And it has a tattered bottom to make it seem like Mace has been out battling in the field. This one also has a wire in the hood. There's a look at the texture. I'm not going to display my figure with either one of these cloaks, but this is what the figure looks like with each one of the cloaks on. Here's a look at the lighter cloak, and I can see where this look would be preferable to some collectors. This cloak is especially voluminous, so it would take some time to get this to lay down and flow the way I would want it to if I actually had this on the figure. With a small amount of work, I'll get this to lay down and it will look good from the front. So I like that look. It's just a side view that takes more work, but it's possible if you want to commit the time to it. Here's a look at the darker cloak. And again, I can see why some collectors would like this layered look. However, it would certainly take some time to get the hood to lay down. I would certainly have to work with the wire and get that to lay down against the figure's back to display my figure with this robe. With that being said, it's still cool to have all of these display options. Here's a close-up look at the lightsabers in the gripping hand. And on both of these hilts, there is magnificent detail, and I really like this metallic silver paint. Before I look at articulation, remember this is an 18-year-old figure, so if you get one, handle with care. There's not much movement in the ankle joints, but the feet do swivel back and forth. There's excellent movement in the knees, and that will allow you to get the figure into a running pose. The figure kicks forward that much, and the hip joints allow you to put the figure into a full split for a deep side kicking pose, and of course the figure does step back. There is waist rotation and upper torso crunching, as you can see demonstrated here. There's rotation and hinging at the wrists. The shoulder joints feel like butterfly joints. There is a great deal of movement here, and that will give you posing options. It's possible to move the arms up far above the trapezius. They cannot do a true 360, but that's due to the clothing. There is also excellent movement in the head sculpt. You can get the figure to look side to side, up and down, and there is an ample degree of head tilting as well. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and please tell all of your friends about this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Star Wars content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.